In my opinion, the role of government is to protect the health and safety of the people and then to stay out of our way and let us do everything else. Regulation is something that is needed to an extent to help protect the health and safety of the people. Of course, you can't have a world without any regulation, but you can abuse it.
We were the very first to invent an agricultural vending machine. To our knowledge, there's never been one invented. We are the first ones in the world. And so we called the USDA, we called everybody we could, and we asked them, what about this? We had a million questions. Of course, most of the people would say, sounds good to me. We went down to the co-op in Port Gibson, Mississippi. We went in there and told the guys, look, we're working on an ag project and we're interested, how much corn, do you sell, bag corn, for your deer hunters and stuff like that. And the guy basically opened up the books and said, look, we sell, about 600,000 pounds of corn a year. And I'm like, whoa, out of this one co-op, 600,000 pounds. And he said, yeah, some years we do better. I'm like, okay, there's a co-op in every county, 82 counties in Mississippi. Then you have Dick's, Walmart, and everything in between. I'm like, wow, I really had no idea corn was that big of a business here. We built the first one in his backyard, and when we put the dollar bill in there and actually the auger turned for the first time, we're like, light coming out of the heavens, like a ah moment. We started putting machines out. We had close to 20-something machines in Mississippi, about 18 or 19 in Alabama. Of course, we had a few others here and there. That's when we got the phone call from the Mississippi Department of Ag saying, hey, we have some concerns.
You can get Coke from a vending machine, but you can't get corn. Explain that to me. That's the absolute insanity of a lot of government regulations, is that when you put 1 and 2 together, it doesn't really make any sense. There's no legitimate reason why you should be able to operate a drink machine as a vending machine, but not through corn. It doesn't make any sense.
You buy a 50-pound bag of corn, you have no idea if that's really 50 pounds. But when you buy a 5-gallon bucket, you can clearly see you're getting 5 gallons of corn. A 55-gallon drum, you can clearly see that the customers really get what they're paying for. So we thought by selling by volume would be a better way, to the customer, more transparency to the customer. They really could see what they were getting their money's worth. So the Ag Department Express said, this is illegal to sell corn by volume. We're like, we don't really understand this because a bushel is technically a volumetric form. They sell corn by the bushels. The senior counsel at Uber approached me and said, sooner or later, you're going to step on somebody's toes and it's all going to come down to money. You're going to make somebody mad and you guys are going to have some bumps in the road. At that time, I'm like, there's no way this is a great idea. Who would not love corn machines? Well, guess what? People who don't love corn machines are the very people we're taking money out of their pockets. The co-op simply did not want us operating in the state for fear of taking business away from them. We had a tremendous advantage over these guys and they saw it, and they wanted to make sure that doing business, especially in the state, was very hard.
We showed, matter of fact, when we launched Tackle the Tape, we showed the stack of papers, of regulations across the board here in Mississippi. It's daunting. And again, you think about someone who's a small business person who has an idea, they've got to come to this regulatory burden, and too many times we've seen dreams that have just been crashed because someone can't get over those hurdles.
We're basically in the way of neighbors selling their farm products to neighbors, honestly. I mean, that's where we really truly are. And if neighbors want to sell farm products to neighbors and build a business without the USDA and without the health department regulatory schemes, and these neighbors are willing to assume the risk, they know who they're buying from, the government needs to get out of their way and let these people make a living off their farms on whatever model that they see fit that fits into their lifestyle.
Every time that we would do something, the finish line kept on being moved. Every single time we would do something, we're like, you know, there's something more to this. And again, let me bring up my good friend. His father owns the grain elevator in Delta. You know, I was kind of keeping him updated. He said, Dan, I really have a bad feeling about this because, I dealt with these guys. He said, they're up to no good. They're up to no good. I'm telling you.
Some entities, such as healthcare, are drastically regulated, far more than other entities. We have other entities that may not have, other sectors that may not have as much regulation. But regardless of the sector, as you look across the economic plane, so to speak, you're going to see costs that are passed on to consumers across varying sectors and varying degrees.
The really quick summation of that is it cuts everybody's ability to chase the American dream, in my opinion. When someone has a hope of a new idea, a new business, an innovation, and they run into this regulatory burden where either they can't afford to get around it, or they don't have the time to get to market fast enough.
There is no small business in this country that has enough money, has enough time, has enough legal counsel to fight the government. If you're a small business, you have no chance. Because again, they have endless amounts of money, endless amounts of legal counsel, endless amounts of every resource. If they want to make it difficult, if not impossible for you to do business, they can certainly make it very difficult, if not impossible for you.
I'm against rules that basically eliminate competition. And that's what we've traditionally done, is we've allowed some of the bigger entities in agriculture to use regulations and use rules to try to keep the competition out. My goal is let's allow a sandbox zone, and let's let these entrepreneurs that maybe have a different business model that actually don't even fit the statutes that we have.
Government has consistently used regulations in a way that props some people up while hurting others. So my goal has been able to make sure that our regulations and our mindset moving forward as the regulations pass through our bodies are just for the purposes of protecting people.
On the local level, say the state of Mississippi, why doesn't the legislator have a body solely created for new innovation, new ideas? Okay, for example, like the corn machines. Hey, this way the pros, this way the cons. This, hey, is this going to be a good fit for the state of Mississippi? Is it going to be a good fit for the, citizen, whatever?
And those regulations really harm them from getting that innovation to market. We all hurt for that. So when you're cutting someone's ability to chase the American dream, not only are you hurting them making a profit and growing their business and helping their family, you're also hurting folks across Mississippi who would benefit from those innovations.
I think the most important thing that people can do if they want to see regulatory relief is, specifically through the regulatory sandbox concept, is to look at other states, look and see what have other states done and what can we do to implement that same thing in our state.
It kind of leaves our regulations behind. They become outdated. So the sandbox provides an opportunity for people to introduce new ideas, new techniques to a particular market. Okay, it gives them an opportunity to exercise their new ideas and their new techniques in that market without having to worry about these regulations. It puts a pause on the regulatory impact, and it puts them in a position to prove that they are worthy for being licensed or worthy to be on the market.
The idea is to get government out of the way. So let's use agriculture, for example. Say you got a farmer in the Delta, they want to bring in some GPS technology, some kind of new tech that regulations haven't caught up to. Well, they're going to be harmed from getting that to market. So the sandbox would say, you know what, we're just going to let you come in, we're going to waive some of these regulations that are harmful to this, that slow the speed to market down. This innovation that we want to see, we're going to let you go try that.
Let them escape those to try to build their business and prove that that business can be successful and safe within that deregulatory zone without all these other confines and requirements that many times make starting an agricultural business cost prohibitive.
It's a drop of prosperity. The more drops we see, the more water we see. So as we cut these regulations, as Americans, as Mississippians are able to go and chase their dreams and build their businesses, it's best for our entire state to allow them to do that. So we've got to get government and regulations out of the way as often as we can.
I mean, anything you're doing to make it easier for families to make a living, anything you're doing to remove barriers that is in front of a family, when it comes to making money, is helpful for our families.